Does Cooper Flagg make the Mavericks championship contenders overnight? And while for a rookie to come in and dominate from day one is uncommon, Cooper Flagg is not the most common rookie in the world. He will come into a situation where a team was just in the NBA Finals a couple of years ago with a top 5 point guard in the league in Kyrie Irving, when healthy, a top 10 player in the league in Anthony Davis, and a solid enough supporting cast that just got you to the NBA Finals. Now, you don't have much salary cap to work with, so maybe trade a veteran like a Klay Thompson or something to go out and get you a starting caliber point guard until Kyrie returns. You've got about $12 million under the second apron to work with unless you do make a trade, so that's probably going to be first things first. And Klay Thompson is one of those guys that has a big contract, and he's going to be 34 years old next year, so maybe it's time to look into moving him. Although, he didn't have the worst season in the world. He's on a 2-year, $34 million contract right now, so that $17 million a year could get you way under that first apron, and you can go out and sign some more depth, sign another guard. He averaged 14 points a game, 3 rebounds, 2.7 assists, and a steal in 27 minutes while shooting 41% from the field and 39% from 3 on 8 attempts. And while the field goal percentage wasn't great, he did average 14 a game on 39% from 3 and is a very valuable floor spacer still at this age that he just proved he can still be a guy to stretch defenses and open it up for guys like Cooper Flagg, Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving to drive the gaps and then kick it to Klay Thompson for the 3-ball. So that means the guy that I think is probably going to get traded here is going to be Caleb Martin, who only played 12 games in Dallas last year, which is why I'm showing his highlights from Philadelphia. He will be 30 years old next year and is on a 3-year, $30 million deal. It's 2 years, $20 million with a $10 million player option at the end of it, so he's probably going to be accepting that. I'd go ahead and get him on the way out the door. With Dallas last year, he wasn't anything special. 5.4 points per game, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. And after that one run to the finals, he hasn't really done anything special. He shot 39% from the field last year, 25% from 3. And the fact that they gave up Quentin Grimes for this dude, Nico, what are you doing, man? But now that they have Cooper Flagg coming in, that decreases their need for wing depth. So I think Caleb Martin is on the way out the door in an effort to save that $10 million. And you might be thinking, well, $10 million is not that much money in the grand scheme of things. Just keep your wing depth. Don't forfeit that. But they got to surround Anthony Davis with talent, and they got to do it in a hurry. In 9 games played with the Mavericks last year, he averaged 20 points, 10 rebounds, 4.4 assists, and 2.2 blocks. Of course, he did get hurt as soon as he got there, but he literally dominated the first game. He was unstoppable, and he shot 46% from the field and 23% from 3 on 3.3 attempts per game. And I wouldn't read into that efficiency too much because, again, it's a 9-game sample size. It's not that big of a deal. Looking back at the season prior, however, AD went off for the Lakers. 24.7 points, 12.6 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 1.2 steals, and 2.3 blocks, and that's all with him playing the 5, instead of the 4, which is what he wants to play. Shot 56% from the field, and he did play in 76 games. So the AD health narratives are not all the way there. Yes, he usually doesn't stay healthy, but there have been seasons he's played 75, 76 games, and he's 6'11 with a 7'6 wingspan and can really do a lot. You see where the vision is coming from for Nico. He's got to do a good job of surrounding him now with talent because they have 3 great posts with Gafford, Davis, and Lively, and then a couple of extra wings with Coop and PJ Washington. Coop's probably going to play the 3 now in Dallas in what's going to be a massive lineup with Gafford or Lively, and then Coop and AD in the front court. You also got to think about Kyrie Irving. He's going to be out for some time, so you need that $10 million to be able to replace him until I think he's coming back around January. Last year, he averaged 24.7 points, 4.8 rebounds, 4.6 assists, and you can't replace Kyrie. You can kind of try and put the Band-Aid on until he gets back. He shot 47% from the field and 40% from 3. People really need to respect this man. He's still a top 5 point guard in the NBA without a doubt, and is still a phenomenal scorer even as he gets a little bit older. Without Luka last year, Kyrie averaged 25.5 points a game, 5 boards, 4 assists, and 1.6 steals in 36 minutes per game. And while you may think that's fantastic, the efficiency is down a little bit at 45% from the field and 36% from 3. So that could be a concern. He needs to get back to that elite ISO level scorer that he was in Brooklyn and Cleveland, but having Coop and AD should help take some of the pressure off of that. He's expected to return in about January of 2026, so the Mavs need a guy that can start for a little while and then become a backup. And while maybe this isn't the most likely outcome, I have seen the idea of Walter Clayton Jr. floated around around in Mavs circles saying, hey, we want to trade back into the first round. We want to go get Walter Clayton. It'd probably take a top 20 pick at least to go get Clayton, but the national champion just averaged 18.3 points, 4.2 assists, and 3.7 rebounds per game with some incredible shot making. I mean, stuff like this where he is just flying off this down screen DHO and just getting right into his jumper over Janai Broom. That's not an easy shot to hit. And then once again right here, coming off the pick and roll, bringing this big out with him. Look how far he brings Janai Broom out with him, and then he just stops on a dime and knocks down this 3-ball. He shot 45% from the field and 39% from 3 on 8 attempts per game. So definitely could be a guy I think that could step in from day one. He spent 4 years in college. He could be a day one contributor in the NBA if given the opportunity, and I think he is a lottery talent. His ability to shoot off the dribble is unmatched in this class. And then, there's also Malcolm Brogden. And at that point, you're saying, all right, we're going to give up Caleb Martin to go out and get like a Malcolm Brogdon type guy with the mid-level exception and still stay under the first apron. Averaged about 12.7 points per game, 4.1 rebounds, and 3.8 assists per game last year with the Washington Wizards, but he only played in 24 games. It wasn't really a competitive season, to say the least, for the Wizards. They weren't trying to win games. Just 2 years ago in Boston, however, he averaged 15, 4, and 3.5 to go with a steal and a half per game and was the NBA's sixth man of the year. So I don't think Brogdon is the worst idea in the world to bring in. And remember, he can start from day one alongside Klay, Coop, AD, and Derek Lively, and that's not even half bad of a lineup if Cooper Flagg can come in and be dominant from day one. And then you get Kyrie back, and he can move right into that six-man role coming off the bench with guys like PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford. That's a pretty good lineup. But as for Cooper Flagg himself, you're asking, where is all this buzz coming from? Is he really legit? Well, I'd have to say yes. He averaged 19.2 points per game, 7.5 rebounds, 4.2 assists, 1.4 steals, and 1.4 blocks, leading Duke in every single statistical category last year, and that, in my opinion, was the best team in the country. He's 6'9" with a 7-foot wingspan, and he won pretty much every award you can win in college. He can shoot the 3-ball. He can take you off the bounce. He's a mismatch nightmare right there. Kansas tries to guard him with the big. Doesn't work. Now Auburn's going to try to guard him with the wing, and he's just going to shoot over him. Either way, you're kind of cooked. This time getting into the lane, his pull-up jumper is elite, and I'm seeing a lot of comparisons to like Kawhi Leonard, and not young Kawhi Leonard, because Coop shot like 40-something% from 3 last year. We're talking about modern Kawhi, Spurs Kawhi, but, not prime Kawhi, right? A little bit below prime Kawhi. We're thinking white Kawhi here with Cooper Flagg from day one. Now, there's no reason he can't develop into prime Kawhi and be one of the best two-way players on the planet, because he is fantastic defensively and can also shoot the cover off the ball on offense. And this would be a competitive lineup come playoff time, like we said, with another scorer off the bench to go with PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford and whoever else I'm missing that the Mavs have. But bringing in Cooper Flagg, getting that first overall pick, there was a reason. There was a huge sweepstakes for Flagg. He is the real deal, and bringing him to Dallas is going to make the Mavericks forget about Luka Doncic a lot quicker. Maybe not forget about him, but it's going to make it hurt a whole lot less. You still have Kyrie Irving as well, who should be back mid-January next year. We'll see what the Mavs do. I love the idea of them trading back into the first round and getting Walter Clayton Jr. or Malcolm Brogdon, either one. Brogdon's an unrestricted free agent. Can definitely go get him. With that being said, that's going to be it for today's video. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to hit the like button. Leave me a comment down below and hit the subscribe button if you did enjoy at any point. And with all that being said, thanks so much for watching today's video.